Welcome back to Mathematics in the Modern World, and we will have our second module for our subject, which is Mathematical Language and Symbol. For our first lesson, the language, symbols, syntax, and rules of mathematics. So, last lesson, we were able to discuss that mathematics has its own language, and from our explanations and examples given, nalaman natin na ang mathematics, it is a term or it is a way for us to analyze things, and with the use of mathematics, people were able to understand each other and even understand the events and the things that are around us. And according to Galileo Galilei, mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe. So, hindi naman malabong sabihin niya to. As an expert in mathematics, we can see a lot of patterns around us. Madaming mga bagay ang may pattern. Madaming mga bagay ang kaya nating i-analyze gamit ang mathematics. Isang example na lang dyan yung oras or yung araw. Di ba? Takbo ng araw, takbo ng panahon, and so on. So, hindi naman tayo makakabilang ng araw or ng panahon kung hindi tayo magkakaroon ng measurement nun kung saan gagamitin natin ang oras. Diba? So, mas naiintindihan natin ang mga bagay-bagay kung kaya natin silang i-represent sa pamamagitan ng mas simple pang bagay. And that is one of the goal of mathematics, to represent things in the easier way. So, katulad nga nito, the language of mathematics make it easy to express the kinds of symbols, syntax, and rules that mathematicians like to do, and is characterized by the following. Number one, it is precise, meaning yung mga representations or symbols na ginagamit natin sa math, unique sila, or meron silang definitions or kahulugan na madali nating malalaman. Halimbawa na lang yung mga symbols na ginagamit natin dun sa for operations. So, alam natin, kapag yung mga symbols na yon yung nakita natin, alam na natin kung anong operation yung ipinapakita or yung gagamitin natin. Diba? So, sa multiplication at division, minsan naiiba yung symbol, pero kahit maiba man yun, alam pa rin natin na multiplication or division, yung process or yung operation na gagawin natin. Next is the language of mathematics is concise. Ibig sabihin nito, kaya niyang paikliin or gawing simple yung mga komplikadong terms. For example, kung sa English, sabi natin ay 8 plus 2 equals 10. So, in words, ganun yung statement natin. Pero pagdating naman sa mathematical term, kung imamath natin siya, so ito yung sa English natin, di ba? 8 plus 2 equals 10. Pero kung gagamitan natin siya ng symbol, susulat natin yung number 8, then yung symbol for addition, yung number 2, equality symbol, tsaka yung number 10. So, yung madaming letters na ginamit natin para ma-express tong expression na to, na-shorten na siya. Diba? Na-minimize. Okay, then, the language of mathematics is powerful. Sinabi nating powerful, ibig sabihin nito, kaya niyang pasimplihin yung mga komplikadong explanations. Isang halimbawa na lang dyan ay yung Pythagorean theorem. Sabi sa Pythagorean theorem, the square of the hypotenuse of a right triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of its two legs. So, kung iisipin natin yung terms na ginamit dun sa statement ng Pythagorean theorem, medyo mukha siyang riddle, mukha siyang bugtong. Ang hirap intindihin in terms of words. Pero kung gagamit tayo ng mathematical representation, mathematical expression, halimbawa, katulad ng ginagawa natin kalimitan, ang hypotenuse ay letter C. Yung dalawang legs, it's either A or B. So, we can write it as C square is equal to A square plus B square. So, same lang siya dun sa statement ng Pythagorean theorem mismo. Diba? And according to Daligdig, year 2019, the application of critical thinking and problem-solving skill which entails the comprehension, analysis, and reasoning to obtain the most accurate solution. So, we are using critical thinking and problem-solving para mas maintindihan natin, ma-analyze natin, at ma-comprehend yung situations that are happening within a certain case. Okay? So, we are able to do that through the language of mathematics. Okay. Do you have questions? If you have questions, you can simply write your questions on the comment box below. So let us proceed now with our lesson 2. It is about writing mathematical language as an expression or a sentence. So, kung sa English, meron tayong tinatawag na words, phrase, and sentences. Sa math, meron tayong terms, expressions, and sentence. So, meron tayong math expressions or mathematical expressions. Pag sinabi nating mathematical expressions, it is composed of different mathematical terms. So, ang kaso lang, hindi kumpleto yung details niya. Meaning is that it does not express equality. Okay? And it does not present the answer. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo makikita dun sa expression kung ano yung magiging resulta. Okay? Then we have math sentence. Pag sinabi natin math sentence, complete yung idea niya. Example nun ay yung mga equations. So, it can express equality. And the answer is presented. Okay? Pag sinabi natin presented yung answer, since it presents equality, makikita mo na merong case na pwede nating magamit kung ano man yung value sa kabilang side ng equal sign para malaman natin kung ano yung magiging sagot dun sa expression natin or dun sa mathematical sentence natin. Okay? And if we compare math expression and math sentence, may pagkakatulad naman sila. They both can have literal coefficients. Pag sinabi natin literal coefficients, yung term doon is variables. May mga variables yung ginagamit. Numerical coefficients. So, ito yung mga numbers na naka-attach siya, nakadikit dun sa unahan ng variables. Okay? So, lahat ng variables may numerical coefficients. Pag hindi mo makita ang numerical coefficient niya, it is understood that that variable has 1 for its numerical coefficient. Then, pwede siya magkaroon ng grouping symbols. Once dumami yung terms dun sa expression or dun sa mathematical sentence natin, it is better to use grouping symbols. Specifically kung gumagamit siya ng multiple operations. Then, it has exponents. Okay? All terms has its exponents. Kapag di mo rin makita yung exponent ng isang term, it means that the exponent is 1. Okay? Then, it has constants. A constant is an unchanging value. When we say unchanging value, there is no variable that can affect it. Okay? And then, operations, of course. In mathematics, operations are very fundamental. Okay? So, if we will have some examples, we have this one. 1 plus 2x is a mathematical expression. So, expression lang siya. Kasi meron lang siyang operation, may terms, may variables, meron siyang coefficients, literal coefficients, exponents, and so on. Pero, hindi mo agad makikita kung ano yung sagot niya. Okay? And, there's no equality. Wala siyang equal sign. The next example, 2x plus 3 equals 5 is a mathematical sentence. So, mathematical sentence siya kasi kompleto yung idea. Bakit naging kompleto yung idea niya? 2x plus 3, ang sagot daw ay 5. So, merong sagot. Meron siyang sinasabing sagot. Okay? Pero, since meron siyang variable or literal coefficient, you still need to solve it to determine the value that satisfies the given mathematical sentence. Or, in this example, that satisfies the given equation. Okay, then the last one, number 2. Kung solo lang siya, number 2 alone, it is just a mathematical term. Term lang siya. So it can be a number, since 2 siya, we can call it a number. It can be a value, or specifically, pwede natin siyang tawaging real number. Okay? So, do you have questions about our lesson 2? If you have some questions or clarifications, you can simply write down your comments below. Okay, then for our lesson 3, we have mathematical conventions. When we say mathematical convention, it is a fact, name, notation, or usage which is generally agreed upon by mathematicians. Ibig sabihin nito, isa siyang statement or either a concept or idea. It can be a theory or a law that was accepted to be true by all experts or mathematicians. Okay? So, kahit anong gawin mong pilit na baguhin siya, hindi siya mababago kasi meron siyang katotohanan at yung katotohanan yon alam siya ng lahat ng eksperto. Okay? So, for example, sabi dito, in the mathematical expression, 2 plus 3 times 2, it is generally appropriate to start the solution with the multiplication to be followed by addition. So, alam naman natin lahat yon, di ba? Kaya nga meron tayong PEMDAS, MDAS, and so on. Di ba? So, una dapat ang multiplication. Sa panahon natin ngayon, ang daming mga logical questions na kumakalat sa social media, di ba? Nililito nila ang tao. However, in reality, for this arithmetic process, una lagi ang multiplication followed by division, then addition, and then we will follow it for the last, which is subtraction. Okay, panghuli ang subtraction. Okay, next. Alam din natin lahat, this is a mathematical convention that when 0 is multiplied by any number, the answer is 0. Pwede ding vice versa. Any number multiplied by 0, the answer is 0. Okay? So, bakit ganon? Kasi, syempre, 0. Ibig sabihin, wala siya. Ang wala, paramihin mo ng kahit gaanong kadami. Wala pa din yun. Diba? So, yun lang ibig sabihin nun. Kahit baliktarin mo, maraming bagay, paramihin mo sa wala. Diba? Nagiging paradox na siya. So, para hindi siya maging paradox, ayusin natin yung statement. Wala, paramihin natin sa marami. Anong sagot? Di wala pa rin. Diba? So, 0 multiplied by any number is 0. Okay. Then, we have the next one. Any number divided by 1 is still the number itself. Okay? So, alam din natin lahat yun. Ang isang bagay, hatiin mo sa isa. Siya pa rin yun. Meron ka bang bagay na mahahati mo sa isa? Siyempre, wala. Kung hatiin mo sa isa, wala kang gagawin doon. Yun na yun. Kung ano siya, yun yun. Okay? So, that is divided by 1. Okay? So, may tanong ba about mathematical conventions? Tandaan, mathematical conventions, these are concepts or ideas that are generally accepted or agreed upon by mathematicians. Okay? If you have no more questions, let us proceed with the other lesson. However, if you have questions, you can simply write it down below in our comment section para mabigyan natin ng linaw sa susunod nating discussion. Okay, the next one, lesson 4, we have PEMDAS. Okay, that is an acronym for parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Okay, it is a mathematical convention. Okay, which is also generally agreed upon by the mathematicians. Okay. So, according to this convention, ito daw yung steps pagdating sa pag-apply ng PEMDAS. First, simplify everything inside the parenthesis. Lahat ng nasa parenthesis. Kung hindi man parenthesis, any grouping symbol. Lahat ng nasa grouping symbol. Pwede siyang bracket o kaya ay braces. Okay? So, alin man doon, kailangan masimplify muna sila. Lahat na nasa groupings na yon. Okay? Bakit? Bakit sila mauuna? Kasi nga, group sila as a whole yun. So, sila yung ipaprioritize natin. Kasi, it is a group, a set of elements that are combined. So we must simplify them first para hindi tayo mahirapan. Next one, simplify all exponential number in the expression. Okay? So sunod, kung merong may exponent, isusunod natin yon after ng mga may parentheses. Okay? Then, so ito, simple arithmetic na to. Follow it by multiplication and division. Okay? And then, last, we have subtraction and addition. Or addition and subtraction. Tandaan din ha, yung step number 3 and 4 natin, those are the critical points. Kasi, kapag hindi mo nasunod ng ayos yung arrangement ng number 3 and 4, magkakamali ka ng sagot. Okay? So, example. Halimbawa, we have this. 3 multiplied to the quantity 3 plus 4 minus 2 multiplied to the quantity 4 divided by 2 all over raised to 2. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin dyan, simplify muna natin yung mga nasa parentheses. So, we have 3 plus 4, that is 7. So, sila yung nasa parentheses. Diba? Next, 4 divided by 2, that is 2. Sir, bakit naman nauna yung addition dito kaysa dun sa division? Ikaw bahala, okay lang yun. Ang mahalaga, inuna mo yung nasa parentheses, yung nasa loob ng parentheses. Okay? Then, still enclose them with parentheses because that parentheses still reflects a certain operation. Okay? So, once we simplified everything inside the parentheses, sunod natin gagawin ay yung exponent naman. So, kung makikita nyo, itong 4 divided by 2, naka-raise siya sa 2. Diba? Meron siyang exponent na 2. So, nung nasimplify na natin yung 4 divided by 2, itong 2 na to, ito naman yung sisimplify natin. So, 2 raised to 2. Or, kung titingnan pa natin to ng mas malinaw, that is 2 raised to 1 raised to 2. Okay? And applying exponential law of exponents, so we will multiply the exponents there. So we have 2 times 1. So that is 2. So we will have 2 raised to 2. Okay? So 2 raised to 2, the answer for that is 4. Because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay? Kaya nagkaroon tayo dito ng 4. Okay, next. Since na-simplify na natin yung mga nasa parentheses, na-simplify na natin yung may exponent, proceed na tayo dun sa multiplication. So, 3 times 7, that is 21. Negative 2 times 4, that is negative 8. Sir, subtraction yun. Ba't naging negative 2 ang tawag mo dun? Okay lang, kung gusto mong ihiwalay yung subtraction, so, copy the operation. Copy the operation. And then, 2 times 4, that is 8. Okay. Then, we have this one. 21 minus 8. Kasi, yun yung next operation natin. Yun na lang yung natitira talaga. So, 21 minus 8, that is 13. So, 13, that is our answer. That is the final answer for our given expression. Naintindihan? Okay. If you have questions, still write your questions below on our comment section. Okay, then for our lesson 5, speaking mathematically. Okay, so mga basic terminologies lang to na makakatulong sa atin para mas maintindihan natin yung mga concepts and terminologies na meron tayo sa math. Pinaka-basic natin, variables. So, we all know that these are representations of objects. It may be a value, a set, theoretical term, and many more. Okay, as long as it represents a certain matter. Okay, so kalimitan, we use the letters from the English alphabet to represent variables, or as variables to represent different matters or different objects with values. Okay, so pwede din tawagin ang variables as unknown, indeterminate, or parameter. Or in terms of other fields, meron tayong tinatawag na free bound random variable. So, it depends on the field of mathematics or depends on the field of expertise that we are dealing with. Okay? So, parameter ginagamit siya kalimitan sa IT. Yung free, bound, or random variable sa probability naman siya. Okay? So, however, lahat naman yan, sila ay nagre-represent ng isang missing value. Okay? Then we have existential statements. Pag sinabi natin existential statements, it usually describes ideas that are true for certain elements. At least one property may satisfy the given case. So, pag sinabi natin existential statements, ito yung mga statements na nagbibigay ng idea ng isang bagay ay totoo at meron talagang ganun. Nag-exist talaga sila. So, example, sabihin natin na all whole numbers has 1 for its denominator. Okay? Or, there exists a denominator for all whole numbers. Diba? So, totoo yun. Kasi lahat ng whole number, may denominator talaga sila na 1. Okay? So, bakit? Balik natin. Kasi nga, any number divided by 1 is the number itself. Diba? Okay, so, that is an existential statement. Next, universal statement. These are statements that satisfies or is true to all the given elements in a set. Okay, so, statement siya na totoo para sa lahat ng elements ng set natin. Or para sa lahat ng members ng isang group. Okay? Given that the ideas are valid to all elements in a context. Okay? So, example niyan, all letters in the English alphabet form words. Pwede yun. Diba? So, lahat naman ng letters sa English alphabet natin, nakakabuo talaga sila ng words. Okay? Another example, all whole numbers, when reciprocated, will have a numerator of 1. Okay? So, universal statement yun. Kapag na-reciprocal lahat ng whole number, ang numerator niya, magiging numerator nilang lahat ay 1. Okay? Also see about universal conditional statements, universal existential statements, existential universal statements. So, those are some derivations about universal statements. So, universal conditional statements natin, universal statement siya with a mix of conditional statement. Okay? Conditional statement, those are if-then statements. Then, universal existential. Una muna universal followed by an existential statement. Okay? By the way, existential statement, minsan, it is easy for us to determine existential statement kasi merong term na there exists, in all, yung mga ganun. Okay? Then, pwede din namang mauna yung existential followed by universal. So, we have existential, universal statements. Okay? I'll give you examples later. Okay, then, we have conditional statements. For conditional statements, it is anchored to universal conditional statements, which suggests that if one thing is true, something affiliated to it is also true. So, kapag isang bagay daw ay totoo, yung isang bagay na connected sa kanya, totoo din yun. Diba? Okay. So, example. Since light and brightness are affiliated to each other, pwede natin sabihin na, if you turned on the light, then it will be bright. Diba? Conditional statement yun. Napakasimple pero yun na yun. Diba? So, let us clarify it by giving examples. So, for our examples, halimbawa, variables, these are any representations for a missing value or object or a group. So, any letter can be used as a variable as long as it or they hold a value that may satisfy a certain condition. So, any letters from the English alphabet can be used as a variable. However, be sure that you will use them if you will be able to determine a certain value for them or you are able to provide, okay, set of values for those letters. Okay, then we have existential statements. So example, there exists an integer such that x raised to 2 plus 1 equals to 10. Or in symbol, kung isusulat natin in symbol yan, yung term na there exists, ito yung symbol niya. Okay? Then, ito, that is an element. Pwede siyang maging symbol nito. Or, an element. Then, integer, ito siya, yung letter Z. Then, we have such that. Ito yun, such that. Okay? So, we have this as our symbol for the given statement for our existential statements. So, there exists an integer such that x squared plus 1 equals 10. Okay? So, ano kaya yung integer na yon? So, it is either 3 or negative 3. Kasi 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 1, that is 10. Pwede din negative 3 kasi negative 3 times negative 3 plus 1, that is also 10. Positive 10 din yun. Okay, then example naman tayo ng universal statements. So, real numbers are quantifiable. Universal yun. Ibig sabihin, lahat daw ng real numbers, kaya nating malaman yung value, kaya natin bilangin, kaya natin sukatin. Okay? Quantifiable siya. Measurable. Totoo, di ba? Next, universal conditional statements. Example natin, a number is whole when the denominator is 1. So, universal siya. A number is whole. Okay? Whole number daw. Kung ang denominator niya ay 1. So, nagkaroon ng condition. Kung, di ba? Okay, next, universal existential statements. In every number, so universal statement. Existential na tayo. There exists a ratio. So, lahat daw ng number may nag-exist na ratio. Totoo, di ba? Tama naman, di ba? So, as long as the number that we are talking about is a real number. Okay? So, halimbawa ay 1. Ang ratio ng 1 ay 1:1. Kasi 1 divided by 1, 1. Okay. So, medyo nakakalito yung 1. Bigay tayo isa pang example. We have 3. For example, 3. Ang ratio ng 3 ay 3:1. Kasi 3 divided by 1 ay 3. Okay? So, yun pa din yun. Then, kung unahin naman natin ang existential bago ang universal, example natin, there exists a numerical coefficient in every variable. So, katulad nga sinabi ko sa inyo, lahat ng variable may numerical coefficient siya. Pag hindi mo makita yung numerical coefficient, it is already understood na ang numerical coefficient niya ay 1. Okay? Next, for the last one, we have conditional statements. So, if-then statement lang to. Just be sure that the two are affiliated. The two terms or the two statements that you will connect are affiliated. Meaning, connected sila talaga, ha? Kasi nga, kung totoo ang isa, dapat totoo din yung kasunod niya. Okay, so example, if you don't have a healthy lifestyle, then your body will be weak. Diba? Totoo naman, diba? Okay, so that is it for today for our Module 2 of our subject, Mathematics in the Modern World. If you have questions, don't forget to write your comments below for your questions or clarifications. Kung meron kayong mga gusto pang bigyan ng linaw or meron kayong mga suggestions pa, okay, just comment below so that we will be able to give emphasis on those topics or on those concepts. Okay, bago tayo mag-proceed dun sa next lesson natin. Okay, but if you have no more question, that's all for now and hope to see you next time. Okay, have a good day and always keep safe.